Okay, so you've made your payment for Probot, the software, and you've been directed to the download page, which is where we are here. Okay, and what you'll see is a request to complete your full name, your email, and your Betfair username. This is critical because we have to get you registered to be able to use the software on the Betfair API platform. Now, if you don't know what the API platform is, don't worry. It's just it's the terminology for the master software that runs the whole Betfair betting environment, and only an automated approved bot can actually use the Betfair API platform. So that's why your username is requested. There's no security risk with that, by the way, because having your username alone would not enable us to actually access your account, but without it we can't register the software for your use. Down here you will see that we have an instruction manual which you can download, the zipped version of the latest software, which as I make this video is version 7.05, and the direct download if you don't want a zipped file. I would suggest you only use the direct download, by the way, if you're using Windows XP. It's better to use zipped if you can. Download the zip file to your desktop, as you'll see in a minute, and then unpackage that ready to run the software program. The Microsoft Net Framework link here, well, if you do have an older computer that perhaps you think may not have been automatically updating Windows updates as it goes, you may need to just update your Microsoft Net Framework software. Don't worry too much about that, because really you'll only know if you need it when you have an issue. You've reported the issue to Probot and they've told you that that's what you need to fix it. So that's the download screen, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to take you through downloading with the zip file. I'm just going to click on that and the download has commenced. Okay, nice and simple. That's part one done. Okay, now that arrived as a little zipped folder on my desktop here, which is where I asked the download to go. Yours might have actually turned up in the download file or folder on your computer instead. That's fine, just go in there and find this, but what you're looking at is this Probot zip, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply right click on that and I'm going to extract all, and that produces the extraction wizard here. Okay, and it's asking me where I want it to go, and for now I'm happy for it to be on the desktop. You see there's desktop there, so that's fine. I'm just going to click next, and this will extract that folder to the desktop, and it's asking me if I want to show the extracted files, which I do, so click finish. And here you see inside that folder we have the guide to Probot v705, which is a PDF document that you can have a look at, and the all-important software setup executive program, and that's this. And what we do now basically is, because I'm using a computer that runs Windows XP, I'm just going to left click on that and click run. But if I were using Windows Vista or Windows 7, I would right click on this, and just here you would have run as administrator, and it's very important that you actually do run this as administrator. It's peculiar to Vista, it's peculiar to 7, it doesn't apply on Windows XP. Okay, so that's why I just double click that, and on XP I'm now just going to hit run. You then have the software wizard pops up, and mostly here you're just going to click next. So I'm going to click next to continue. I'm going to accept the terms and conditions of the software. By all means read that, but it's the normal stuff about what your rights are, what your rights with the software specifically are all about. You can read that if you wish, that's sensible. and if you're happy, click Next. It's now asking me where I want to put the program. As you can see here, it's asking me if program files, BetLab, Probot, USR is okay, which it is. Okay, program files is obviously where I want it. BetLab is the name of the master folder this will sit in, and the Probot USR, which is short for user, is the functional program. I'm happy with that, so I click Next, and it's also going to create shortcut for me for simplicity. I'm happy with that, and it's asking me if I also want a desktop icon and a quick launch icon. I'm not bothered with the quick launch icon, so we just go for a desktop icon. Click Next, install, and it's now unpacking and installing the software for us. And then simply click Finish here, and that's the software literally installed. What you now notice, of course, if that's all been done properly, is the little horse's head icon here on your desktop. That's the shortcut, and we're ready to move on to the next stage of setting up, which is to open the software and get started. Okay, now remembering again that I am using on this computer Windows XP, what I simply do to actually run the software is I click, or double click in my case, on the horse's head. This opens the software itself. The login screen should appear momentarily. It takes a couple of seconds, don't worry about that. And you'll see this is the login screen confirming that it's version 7.05. You always want to try and keep up to date with any new version that comes out, because they're normally upgraded based on bug fixes and little technical problems. But sometimes new functionality is added which you might want to take advantage of. So just check that you're always running the most up-to-date copy possible. Now, again, if I could just confirm, I'm going to close that for a second. If I were using Windows XP or Windows Vista, I would be right-clicking with my mouse button, and here we would have Run as Administrator. You can't see it here because this is XP. Okay, so if you have Vista, if you have Windows 7, Run as Administrator always. Otherwise it will not properly load the critical database that you need in the software. I'm running XP, so I can just use Open, and that's very simple. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to go any further than this point unless you've had confirmation that you are now registered to use the software. And if you sign up for the Probot software over the weekend, for example, say a late Friday evening, Saturday or Sunday, that confirmation process can't normally happen until Monday. So it could be that you're not live and able to log into the software for some considerable time. Okay, now don't worry, that's just a fact of life. They will get you registered and you will be functional. So let's assume you've had the confirmation email to say you're live. Basically all you do here is you enter your username and your password, and then basically you will click login. Okay. Now once you've clicked login, there's a slight delay before the main screen opens up here. Okay, and this is what you will initially see. Now I'll be using separate videos to explain what each of the Probot functions are about. Okay, but for now, very simply, let me just run through basically what you're looking at. Okay, now there are a number of tabs here. You'll see S1, S2, the LL tab, the S3 subtitle 7030 tab, and the S4 subtitle Maria tab. There's also a report tab, the log tab, and the recovery mode. Now I'm not going to really deal with any of this on this video, and there isn't going to be specifically a video on the recovery mode because it's frankly never really used, but for an explanation of how recovery mode is used, and you'll see it's only really applicable to what we call the S1, the S2 and the LL tab. Okay, System 1, System 2 and Lay Ladder, to give them their full titles. There is an explanation on how this works in the manual, and we're going to leave it at that as far as video is concerned. Working back again, the log, just here in effect what happens is that it just logs what your software is doing as it goes through its various functionalities during the course of the betting day. So it'll tell you what it's up to, basically. That's all the log is for. But it can be useful if you have a technical error to explain what may have gone wrong. So if you haven't switched your bot off and we can still refer to the log, that's kind of useful, especially if you can take a screenshot of the log for technical support purposes. The report, well, this is actually where your actual results will appear after the betting day. When everything's been confirmed and the bot has stopped, there'll be a report available in here of the bets made and the results, and you'll see that you have a save on, it actually says CVS, but it should say save on CSV button, which means that you download it as a standard CSV file spreadsheet, basically. Okay, so that's the report function, and you can filter certain dates, change the dates here. I mean, if I click active, I can change the date from and the date to, and so on, and that's how we get a date range. The other tabs, well, we'll cover those in separate videos. So as far as getting started is concerned, that's basically it. So if you move to the second video now, I will explain in some detail specifically what S1 actually does for you. Thank you.